Hello, everyone. I am Tacet, and this is part 2, I guess, of us going over the all the changes in version 4.35 of Gems of War. Same thing happened last Tuesday. That's really annoying. The stream goes for like a few minutes, and then it just disconnects. Exact same thing happened last Tuesday. But anyways, yeah, we're mainly going to be doing invasions and all the delves we need to do today. And of course, we got version 4.35. It's a pretty small patch. And quick recap, though we'll be going over a little bit more right now as well. But just in quick recap, all the settings menu has basically been changed. In battle, it now has a bunch of various resources that ends up displaying, many of which were not possible to be seen before. The other change is, of course, a bunch of changes to the normal settings menu. It's now a lot more organized, and I'll be showing that in-game in a moment. And we were just going over all the change log, just mentioning Wolf Garrick. Now it's overall more powerful because it used to gain 5 attack and 5 magic to all Wargear allies, but now it gives it per extra turn to 2 attack and 2 magic, so after 3 extra turns, it would be more stats than it was before. However, it'll initially be lower overall, or when you're first starting, but it'll be higher overall, but lower when you first start out in the battle. Other than that, Kingslayer's spell condition bonus damage now triggers on the enemy's attack is greater. And the bonus damage has been increased from 7 to 12, which isn't really going to make much of a difference with him. And other than that, we did get a bunch of bug fixes. Unfortunately, they did this one that is always kind of confusing on what on earth they actually did, where they say several minor bug fixes. But most of these seem pretty minor as well. Most of the fixes that they end up mentioning over here, almost all of which are pretty irrelevant, other than fixed an issue where pet rescue pop-ups were appearing at incorrect times. So hopefully pet pop-ups work correctly now. The patch has only been out for about an hour, so I haven't really gotten to see if the pop-ups work correctly now. But out of all these bug fixes that are specifically typed out, it seems like the most useful one out of all of them. But anyways, let me go in game now and actually show some of these changes. Let's see. As well as what it's applicable for, because there actually are some things that those changes end up making a bit easier as far as actual gameplay wise. Where on earth is my window capture? There it is. Okay, so anyways, let me go reorganize my screen now that that's out the way. And okay, so where were we? Also, hello Haley, hello Steve, hello Skeleton King, hello I Love, hello Chad, and hello everyone else who was here earlier but had to get disconnected. Hopefully it doesn't do that again. But anyways, of course, settings menu. This is completely different now. Most of it's pretty self-explanatory. The only new thing here is mouse highlight sensitivity. I'm not going to show this right now because we're not, map highlight sensitivity. This is for controller. Of course, you can use controller on the PC version of the game, so this is applicable for every version except for the mobile versions. But basically what this does, though I can't really show it right now, normally when you have a controller, you have like a little cursor that you have whenever you're going over stuff on the map, and it basically just moves a lot quicker now. I don't think that actually fixes the scrolling, where you scroll through this, but it might also affect this, I'm not sure. But it will definitely affect the map whenever you're scrolling on it on controller, so that's basically what that's for. I would highly advise setting the sensitivity up. I believe by default it had it around here. You definitely want to set it probably here or even all the way at max. Haven't actually tested it around yet, but you definitely want to at least double where it currently was. This is still the same thing that's always been. The graphics alert is just a little bit more organized now. I personally just have pet rescues on my alerts as well as kingdom income, as those are basically the only two I find relevant. Most of these other alerts I don't really care much about for the most part, and they aren't really that useful. You mainly just want to know when pets are active and when your tribute is ready. Those are about the only two that you really need, and that's the only two I have alerts for. Here's to switch your language, if you want to switch up the language to whichever one you prefer. Account recovering is a little bit easier now, and it has this nice little screen. I'm not going to click on any of these because I believe it shows my, obviously click and show password will show password and stuff like that, so obviously I won't be clicking on any of these. But yeah, they organize this a little bit more than how it was before, and they now have a whole help area where you can actually submit a ticket now from the game itself. You don't have to go to their website, or I believe this just brings you to the website. I haven't actually clicked it yet, nor will I be at the moment, just because it might mess up how I have the overlay right now. But yeah, you can just click that to submit a ticket now rather than going to their website. Has terms of service, which wasn't really in the game that well before. Privacy policy, community guidelines, all that good stuff. The credits, which have always been here. Something that goes directly to their help center. They do have a help center on their website with a bunch of decent articles. Some of them are they're generally pretty low-level articles. Like, it's not like gameplay articles. It's basically just the extreme basics to help people out if you're confused about like the layout of anything or what specific things do and all that kind of stuff. And other than that, it just has a link to their website, their Facebook, their Twitch, which they stream every Monday, their forums, or, the normal forums, their Twitter, and Reddit. I almost forgot to even do Reddit. And, yeah, that's pretty much all the things changed in the settings menu. But let's go and head into an actual battle now. And this, of course, is the most relevant change. Still overall a really small patch. But this is the most relevant change that ended up coming in this entire patch. And that is now when you click the settings menu, or if you click the escape button, which is hotkeyed on keyboard. It's one of the only things that keyboard is useful for. It's literally the only key that works on it. You can now click the escape button or the settings menu in the corner, or whatever button ends up bringing that up on controller. I think it's normally the start button. And you now get this page, which ends up showing a lot of info, most of which wasn't actually available before. So as you can see right at the top here, it shows how long the battle has gone down for. And it does count every single second rather than the actual active ones of playing. So you'll know exactly how long your battle is. This will be pretty good for keeping track of win rate, as well as just, seeing if you go for like a 20-minute battle like the other day. Like our 28-minute battle the other day, we could have screenshotted that and seen that it went on for 28 minutes. But that's pretty cool. So if you have a certain amount of time, or if you kind of just want to test like a new team and see in-game how long that team is taking to win, you now have a feature that will tell you. Unfortunately, I don't believe this number shows up anywhere after the battle. So basically right before the end of the battle, like right as your enemies, or right as you're about to take like the final thing to win the battle, you basically have to click escape or your start button and just bring that up and just see what the time is, like right at the end of the battle, and do it that way, because I don't believe it shows at the end of the battle. Other than that, you have your normal stuff that you always had, your souls, your gold, and treasure maps. That's obviously still shown up there as well. However, there's additional things that we can now see, which is everything else that's here. One of them being how many gold keys. Gold keys are obtained on a percent chance. I forget what the percent chance is these days, but there's a percent chance every time you take a manual move. So that move right there could have given us a gold key. Every move that you manually move off the board, not the cascaded stuff, but the ones you manually swipe for, do have a chance of giving you a gold key every single time. I forget the exact chance on that, but those can be accumulated. Apparently there's a cap of 5. I think the most I ever got in a battle was like 3 or 4 though. Other than that, it now keeps track of how many deaths are in each team. Of course, there are a lot of troops these days that are starting to gain a mechanic, and that now boost ratio based on how many deaths are on either your team or the enemy team, or total throughout the entire battle. And now you'll be able to tell. Whatever this is how many times you've died. Whatever that is how many times the enemy died. And if you need to figure out the boost ratio for something that uses both of them, or the total amount of deaths in a battle, you just simply add those two numbers, and then boom, you'll know exactly how much of a boost ratio it has. Apparently it's capped at 60, which is also why those event gems were kind of glitching out, because if you did it beyond 60, well, it was kind of capped at it. So yeah, you can only get a cap of 60 on that. However, very, very rarely are you ever going to hit that many deaths in a single battle, unless you're getting extremely unlucky or you're deliberately trying to do so. Of course, the most noteworthy thing about all of the settings right here is you can finally see the enemy's resources. So if they have something boosted based on gold, or based on souls, or based on map, or anything like that, before you were not able to see what on earth the enemy had. However, now you can see the exact value that the enemy has. And the other thing that is pretty irrelevant for the most part, but you can now see the enemy's mastery right in the middle here. So you can see what your mana surge chance, what their mana surge chance is. This would mainly be relevant, I guess, if you're using the Jinx mechanic, since before you would never really be able to tell what you're reducing them down to. If you're using 1, 2, or multiple Jinxes, or any amount of Jinxes, you would have no clue what their actual surge chance is, because it only reduces down Jinx. How it works is it reduces down the mastery number, not the actual percent. So even if we had a Jinx in play right now, it would not reduce him to around 30%. It would actually reduce him to about 40-something or 50-something percent, simply because it lowers down the actual number and not the percent itself. So it'll be a little bit easier to tell what on earth Jinx is actually reducing their percents down to, since before you wouldn't actually be able to see it in battle. And actually the next battle I'll probably go do that, just to see, show off the Jinx mechanic there, because we've never really been able to see it properly. And other than that, it also shows the name of the enemy that you're up against, the portraits. So there's actually, I guess, more usefulness for the portraits now. I wish I had your title next to it too. They might add that eventually. There's like a perfect spot for it right there too. Add a title right there, add title right there. Or have it so it's named and title, and name and title, or something like that. But how could they miss that? But yeah, it's a pretty nice screen. And it's definitely a lot better than the previous settings menu. And no longer on controller will you accidentally like switch any of the menus when you're going through it on controller. That's actually something that's actually somewhat relevant for the meta. If you are using the controller, it is actually quicker to hotkey leave a battle, because now all you have to do is click the start button, and then you should just be able to click whatever your A button is, or your confirm button, and it should instant retreat. Of course, it's still a little bit harder on, well, not necessarily harder. It's still about the same if you do it on PC, because all you have to do is just click escape, and then you click the retreat. But it should be quicker on controller now, because I know before on controller you used to have to, like, click down multiple times before you can actually click on retreat. But now you just simply click the A button, and you should be able to retreat immediately. Though, if I'm not mistaken, there's not a warning on it, so be careful if you accidentally go in that menu, because I'm pretty sure if you click retreat, you will... let me actually double check. Let me just go to, like, a random battle, but I'm pretty sure if you click retreat, it doesn't have a warning on, hey, you shouldn't be retreating. But let me see. It's actually good if it doesn't have a warning, because it would make it better for quick retreating, but it'd be bad if someone actually didn't want to retreat. But we'll see. It shows a way to actually disable those notification things. It's something else we need. Yeah, it does have a warning, unfortunately. However, hopefully controller defaults to yes and not no. It might actually default to no. That'd be annoying if it is. Because, yeah, we really need something that, like, gets rid of those warnings. They don't have any toggle for it yet. They might in the future. But, yeah, and that's pretty much everything that happened with this patch. Not really much. The only other thing that's kind of, that it kind of affected too, though it's not really that relevant, Treasure Hunt now has one as well. However, all three of these things were already on this page. The only relevant aspect that is actually here now is the timer. Of course, similar to normal battles, it now has a timer for the treasure hunt battles. So that'll be good for keeping track how on earth long you're doing on a treasure map. Yeah, now you can compare, like, if you do X amount of time, or, you know, you could compare basically the loot of a treasure map if it takes you, like, 5 minutes compared to one that takes you 2 minutes and stuff like that, and to see how long it takes you to get to, like, 100 turns or whatever else. So that's somewhat useful, but all those other three things are already here, so that's pretty much the only useful thing, and it's so small. It's literally the most useful thing on this entire page is the smallest thing on this page, which is kind of funny. But all three of these are already normally on the page, right there, and... oh, actually, the trait stone number obtained, I guess, isn't normally here. But you can tell what it is. All you have to do is divide 15 into that number, and that's how many trait stones you've gotten. So I guess technically that one wasn't normally seeable, but this one and this other one is right there and there, so not really helping much there. Yeah, I guess it has two things, the timer and the trait stones obtained. But of course, we can already tell how many trait stones we obtained. We can obviously see we have 0 right now, and as soon as that goes to 15, we have 1, and 30 is 2, and so on and so forth. But I guess if you hit over like 100-something turns, it would take a little time to actually figure out what on earth that is. One quick quality of life thing they didn't add in this patch, though, unfortunately, is we still don't have automatic boost ratios. That's something that they might be considering to add in the future. However, this patch did not end up bringing that in. However, it is slightly easier to tell what they are, since we can now tell how many deaths are on the enemy team now, and other stuff like that. So some boost ratios will be a little bit easier to calculate. However, in many instances, you still have to calculate them out, since it doesn't just tell you, hey, this is what the boost ratio goes up to. But yeah, what I was mentioning with the timer earlier, basically, whenever you take your final move of an anything, basically just click escape right before, and you'll be able to see what the timer is for the battle. And there we go. Unfortunately, yeah, I wish they would have added that timer thingy to this. That would have been pretty cool. There's definitely room for it. It's not like there's a lack of room here to add, like, how long your battle actually took. Because now that we have it in battle, it'd be pretty cool if we had it after the battle itself. But, yeah, that's pretty much everything with the new patch. Really small, but overall, nice little quality of life. Anyways, that's basically that. Let's go over to do our normal daily stuff now. Over to invasions. And let's go mess around with the ridiculously ultra-easy invasion this week. Simply throw a mountain crusher, throw a bunch of the red charlottes, and we ought to win. Also, thank you, Harm, for the subscribe. Much appreciated. Also, let me go through chat. Did I miss anything? Yes, Xbox got this version 24 hours ago. They've had this version for a while now. They had it 24 hours before any other version had it. It accidentally got rolled down early. Let's see. Hello, Candy. Hello, Analyst. You just got pits to level 490, but you only have 700 gems. So, no chance of maxing it with this event. Aw, that's unfortunate. Yeah, having to spend a whole nother amount of gems just to get the one more pack could definitely burn through your gems a little bit too much. You probably should have waited until you had a little bit more gems, though. Normally, you want to wait until you have at least, like, pretty much always a reserve of 1,000 gems at any given moment of time. Even on my Nintendo Switch account, I've been trying to do that lately. Just because you always never know when you might just need a burst of them for something, either just to get an event done or something else. But I don't know, if you already went that far, I would, if you have 700 gems and you only need like another 200 to get it, if you know for sure you can do pure faction, I would honestly say just go for it. If it's only 200 gems more and you have 700 gems. Because you can even just farm that out right now if you just go do a bunch of treasure maps. It might take a few hours to go get those gems, but you have all week. Or sorry, you don't have all week, never mind. I forgot, you have 6 more hours. But still, between Wednesday and Friday, if you're trying to get enough gems for the Friday event, there's still plenty of time in that time to go farm gems. Even at something like 50 per hour off a treasure hunt, you'd still be able to get the gems you needed to do Friday's event. Might take a little bit more grinding than normal, but you would be able to get it. Still in time. Let's see, we'll throw that down. Also, they're probably going to do some kind of flash offer this Friday. Not sure if it's going to be a good one, but there's almost a guaranteed chance they're going to be doing one. In case you did want to go for it. Let's see. Hello, Mobarashi. Hello, Gustavo. Hello, William. Now we can watch Quick Claw steal the gold. Oh yeah, we can now see if Quick Claw actually functions properly now. They did mention they fixed other bug fixes. It did not specifically mention if they fixed the glitch with gold stealing. However, we'll be able to see now if it is or is not fixed. It might have been fixed and they just didn't mention it. But yeah, let's go see if the new troop actually functions correctly after we finish out all of Invasions, which shouldn't take too long given how ridiculously OP this week's troops are as far as this event. The event should only take us like 5 more minutes even if we get another Val Raven or something like that. Hello, Cherry Top. Hello, Neil. Hello, Crepper. Let's see. Where can you find good decks? Gems of War Forum. I also cover videos on it on occasion. And I will be covering them on it soon. I was actually waiting until it was balanced this time around before I covered more stuff on it. However, the balance did very little this time around. No really game-changing balance this time around as far as the rebalance that did occur this patch. All of it was really, really small. The biggest thing that probably changed was Wolf Garrick out of all of them. And that does not make War Gears useful still, even with the buff that they got. Does make them slightly more useful, but still overall not really that worth using. Oh, did the stream just get disconnected again? Not sure what it is about Tuesdays. It just loves doing horrible on Tuesdays. Did the exact same thing that happened last Tuesday. The stream went up for a couple minutes, then it went down, and then we were back the entire time. It was really weird. Seems to be doing the exact same thing this time around. Not sure what's up with Tuesdays. Maybe there's something going on with my internet provider or something on Tuesdays, but not sure why it's like that. Yeah, it's fine now, but it ended up disconnecting like the first few minutes when we started streaming. What do we take here? We'll wait 2 turns, I guess. Oh, wait, never mind. We already have all the mana we need. Never mind. We can start hitting them now. We'll give him brown. Not too big a deal. Oh, yeah, never mind. Actually, it's a big deal. Now he's going to get a barrier. And it's match. There we go. You've been playing for 2 weeks and you're level 230. Is this quick or slow? That seems about normal pace. That seems perfectly fine for normal pace. I currently started my Nintendo Switch account, what was it, 6 months ago? Or sorry, 6 months ago, what am I saying? About 6 weeks ago. And it's currently at around level 700, I believe. So, yeah, being at somewhere around 200 something after 2 weeks is definitely pretty good. I would say about that's normal pace. I'm not even really sure what normal pace is, though. It depends on a lot of factors. Like what kind of troop drops you get, if you ended up spending for Death Knight armor, or if you just ended up doing it the normal way by spending 500 gems for Dragon armor, and other factors like that. But no, that seems about average. Especially if you're playing free-to-play. What do we take here? Get a Mountain Crusher down. Actually, what am I doing? We already have all the gold we need. I mean, all the mana. Yeah, all the gold we need, so we already have infinite mana. since we could just one cast all of these. Yep, come on, click. Why use 3 tower killers? Because in case 1 dies, we have another one, and in case 2 dies, we have another one. That's why. It also allows us to cast before we have max gold, because I currently have the hero class set to 5 gold per turn. So if some of them have mana, but if some of them have mana and we haven't reached max gold yet, we could still start casting them and just wait until the 5 golds get us up. That's the other reason why I have it. So for example, we might have 2 of them up, but we only have 25 gold, which will not feed it back to more. But I could still cast it out because it's just going to gain right back to, or the other one, by the time we take our 1 turn, the other one's already going to be at full. So we don't really have to wait on it. If that makes any sense. Let's see, like right here, for example, if this was at 10 mana, we could cast that and know for sure that this one would be at full mana the following turn. Unfortunately, that's not the case this time around. But it basically allows us to cast a little bit earlier, assuming we get a good initial Mountain Crusher. And that's the main reason why we have it like that. It's not really that big a deal. You only need 1. The rest of them are basically just backup just in case. Because even right here, you can see we might actually lose our hero. Maybe even one of them. Mainly just to make sure we always have at least 1. It also makes sure that we don't have to worry about skulls at all. I just completely ignore skulls even exist. As well as extra turns. I just let them have everything. Unless we're starting to get super deep, we're not really going to need to worry about them doing damage. Since even if 2 of these dies, we still have 1 left. Let's see if I can actually get a board that shows what I was talking about, though. I would need to get a really good Mountain Crusher start for it to be relevant. And as long as it surges, that'll be good enough. Good. So, get all of our mana there. So, this is... Would we have to wait 1 more turn? Probably. Yeah, this is somewhat what I was referring to. So what we can do now is cast, and cast. If we only had 1, we wouldn't be able to do this. But as you can see, they're currently not at a gold amount where we'd be able to get all of the gold, all of our mana back. But now it is by the time we hit the 3rd one. So we could do a combination like that. Not really that relevant. It comes into battle occasionally for these. But it basically allows us to start casting these before we have 30 gold. And that's the only reason why I kind of have multiple. And of course, in case 1 dies, or 2 dies. Just that backup. And these do 5 times damage to towers, which is quite hefty. That's, with my stats, it's almost 250 damage. It actually is possible to do 250. I currently am missing 1 attack at this current moment in time, and that's just because I haven't upgraded Warrens, because I'm deliberately keeping it at a low level to farm it. Oh, no game sound? I muted it yesterday and I never unmuted it. Oh, well, there we go. We got game sound now. I've been able to hear it, but I forgot you guys can't. I ended up muting that at the end of yesterday's stream to show something on Nintendo Switch, and apparently I never unmuted it. Thanks for that. Wow, I've been going like 23 minutes now, or technically even longer because of the disconnect earlier. Yeah, we've been going for like 28 minutes now, and didn't even realize that. Whoops. Like right here is another instance where we can start casting them. Even though we don't have max gold, we will by the time we reach it, and now we have max gold. So you can just do stuff like that. It just allows you to cast them a little bit earlier. Not really that big a deal though. The battles already go so quick that 1 is still plenty enough if you don't want to have to get the extra ones. Because normally what you do for these events, more often than not, maybe not in early game and mid game, but definitely once you get to late game and end game, what you do is you buy the tier 4 and then you use a blue orb on it. However, some people, including myself, buy the tier 5 now, and there are a few reasons why this is done. The main one being that the emoji pack is now on tier 5. The second reason is because you'll be able to have multiple of the troop. If we only bought the tier 4, we would only have 1 copy, whereas we technically have 6 copies, which means, of course, we could run 2 or 3 of them on our team if we want to, which is what this allows. And the other thing that it allows is you get it fully traded if you don't already have the trade stones, and it also ends up giving you all the legendary ingots. This is the last one that ends up giving legendary ingots, so it helps a little bit with upgrading weapons. Though the most relevant part about it is the emoji pack and the fact that you can use multiple within the event. Because if we only went to tier 4, we would only have 1 copy of her, whereas now we could use 2 or 3 from buying tier 5. That's like the biggest difference between them. I personally go to tier 5 now, just because of mainly the emoji pack more so than anything. But of course, invasions. Raids doesn't gain much of a benefit from it, of course, But Invasions is quite beneficial to go for that extra pack just to, I believe it's 350 gems. But it's pretty useful because you'd have to, if you try getting this in the future, it's going to be around 100-something gems. And, yeah, might as well just get it up front than having to do it later. But anyways, that's all that. Let's go mess with the new troop that came in. I did want to mess with that real quick just because, actually, let me take out this battle first. You go get out a quick key team or something. Actually, I should probably do something safer than key. Let's go key. Hopefully it doesn't fail. I probably should, but well. We'll go with this for now. Is there an enchanting troop? Yeah, there's a few different options for enchanting. Most of them aren't that good, though. Divine Ishbala is one of the best enchanters in the game currently, if you're specifically looking for an enchant mechanic. Okay, we have a problem here. That's not enough damage, and he's about to get a ridiculously good cast right here. So I'm going to take a skull just because that brings it to kill range. Luckily... Oh, that's not good. Never mind. We're dead. Okay, now we're not dead. Oh, now we're dead. Rope dart teams. I hate you. Okay, let's see. We'll throw key down. Not over yet. Okay, now it's over. That didn't kill. Whoops. Apparently we didn't have enough gold. Okay, I need to go use a safer team against rope dart teams. Still not over yet. Get to test out the timer system. Because this battle's gonna go for a while. Let's see, let's go get, let's solo it with Egg Thief, it's possible. Might as well. Gotta go get that pet. For all we know, it could be something relevant. Which reminds me, there's still a pet active right now that I need to go get. Maybe we just dodge this one and let it go. We'll see. Because it said 44 minutes earlier. It's probably at like 15 minutes now. So all we're doing is getting 2 white pet food. But hey, who knows? Maybe he'll drop a vault key. The chance is so ridiculously slim outside of an event, but you never know. Could you imagine if we actually win this? Egg Thief can solo entire teams. It's kind of funny. Because she has stealthy and you keeps making it so the enemy has to keep targeting things that have, what's it called? High durability on them. They basically never die. Oh, I'm entangled. Why did I take that? Well, at least he didn't hit us back, though that's kind of irrelevant if he would have hit us back. Okay, 2 down. Many to go. We got this. Gonna win this in the weirdest way possible, but we got this. Let's see, how much time has it been? 2 minutes. Yeah, really cool that we can see how much time battles take now. We no longer have to, like, guesstimate how long it is. Of course, it's pretty easy while I'm streaming to see about how long a battle is. But, of course, in all other situations, it's way easier now. Oh, let's go get a baby dragon summon. Come on, something relevant. No, I was going to use that baby dragon. Oh, well. The eggs will get more eventually. I know, it looks like we'll win before then. Well, that's a really weird way to win, and it took like 3 minutes, but hey, we won. Please give us a vault key. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, it took 3 minutes. There we go. Okay, let me go do that pet battle before I forget. It probably has like 10 minutes left. And it's one of the ones we actually need as well. Or not that we really need it, but you know, we have like barely any copies of it. It's a pretty bad bonus. I believe it's Blackhawk bonus. Or was it? Yeah, it was Blackhawk, I believe. Or Melantis, I mean. Oh wait, actually Melantis bonus isn't too bad. The next hero class that's coming into the game early June is Melantis. I believe that's 3 weeks from now? 3 Fridays from now, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, we got that coming up soon. But anyways, let's go do this. We have half an hour left. That's plenty of time. It takes like 5-10 minutes. Do I know what color level next faction is? Yes. It is... Well, yes and no. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but we do know what it is. 1 second. The next faction is... Red-Blue. With a focus on blue. It's +2 blue, +1 red, -1 green. But, yeah, it's red-blue is your restriction. So that means you can use Iron Gut meta. You can use Iron Gut Zugoff meta. You can use Apothecary into any brown that is also red or blue. So you can use Gargoyle for early battles if you want to. You could use Tina for early battles if you wanted to. Stuff like that. But the most viable thing you could possibly run, to my understanding, would be to run, if you own it, Mountain Crusher, High King Iron Guts, Zugoff, and Possessed King. And if you don't own Zugoff, put an Apothecary there. And if you don't own Possessed King, put a... Actually, I'm not sure what the replacement would be. Normally it's something like Sylvanity Mora, but it wouldn't fit on those colors. There's some kind of replacement for Final Slot. There's something just as basic as Mountain Crusher, Apothecary, High King Iron Guts enough to solo. I guess your red or blue troop might be something like Lady Mirana, so you have instant kill to get rid of the things that have immune to immune. You could also maybe put... oh, you know what you could do? No, don't do that. I know exactly what you put there. You put the new troop that's coming out this Friday there. You put the... oh, what's it called? The Mirage Queen. Mirage Queen into that team is going to be really, really solid. The composition is a Mountain Crusher, Apothecary, High King Iron Gut, and Mirage Queen. And what Mirage Queen does is it curses all enemies, also converts all green to Doom Skulls. But of course the most relevant being that it curses all enemies. And with that curse to all enemies, that will get rid of immune to Devour on all of them. So you can simply just go Devour, even if they have Impervious, you can still Devour them, because Curse hits through Impervious. And there's almost no instance of Bless within Delve, so you'll never really need to worry about them having immune to Curse. And there's literally no Indestructible. So between that, you should be able to curse pretty much everything within any Delve. Like 99% of stuff can be cursed within Delves, probably even higher than 99%. Because the only things that currently have Bless in Delves, though they might change that in the future, but at this current moment in time, the only Blesses that exist in Delves are off of random stats effects, positive stats effects, and almost nothing does that within the context of Delves. Especially if you're outside of any Delve that's Warrens. Because most of them don't really have it in any of the battles. I think like there might be one or two out there, but it's very, very minimal. Like for example, something could transform from a baby dragon to Divinia, and then that Divinia could randomly have that stats effect. I'm not sure of what other instances there are, but it is very, very few, to the point that it's nearly zero. Sea of Sorrows is also Merlantis. No, the Delve is not Merlantis. It looks like it should be, but the Delve that's coming out next Friday is for Bright Forest. I know that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but it is for Bright Forest. I was talking about the hero class. Next hero class is Merlantis in 3 weeks. The next Delve, even though it looks like it should be like Blackhawk or Merlantis or something, is Bright Forest, last I recall. Which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like how it is not Blackhawk doesn't make any sense. But I guess it's because they're not rogues. It's more like elementals. So I guess it somewhat makes more sense in that regard. But it definitely has like a pirate theme going on there. Oh yeah, Silver Necropolis also has quite a bit of Bless. I forgot about that, yeah. But I mean like normal default rooms is what I'm referring to. Like Warrens has it, Silver Necropolis has it. But the normal rooms that you go through, there's almost no Blesses that you have to ever deal with. And Impervious means nothing against Curse. Curse completely negates out Impervious. Which is way better than Stun, because Stun obviously does nothing to Impervious. Because the stun, Impervious has immune to Stun attached to it. But yeah, the cheapest viable level 500 Delve team for next Friday will be Mountain Crusher, Apothecary, High King Iron Gut, and the Mirage Queen. And the most expensive would be Mountain Crusher, High King Iron Gut, Zugoff with the Possessed King. And of course, if you wanted to go even cheaper, you can go just use Mang, solo Mang, with support troops like Apothecary and stuff. However, that's only what you use as a last resort if you have absolutely no other option, because it is a little bit towards the slower side. But it would get the job done if you had literally nothing else. Literally just Titan maxed into Apothecary, you could probably solo the entire next Delve. It would just take forever to do so. All the way to 500. Let's see, we'll take that, let's get another egg down. And it's dead. One more battle. Is Thief class on Switch yet? No. I believe it's 2 hero classes away. Right now we got Rune Priest. Next hero class is something. I forget what it is, but it's something. And then the one after that, I believe, is Egg Thief. I mean, is Thief, I mean. Yeah, Egg Thief would also be coming. Both of them should be coming in about 2 months on Nintendo Switch, assuming it stays on its current trajectory. So they might start speeding it up or do something to start catching it up to the other versions. Oh, hopefully we get a lot of copies of this pet right here, because we're going to need it in a couple weeks. Hopefully we get at least one more upgrade category. We're going to need 4 copies between now and a few weeks from now. We should be able to get that in time, hopefully. Especially if we get all 4 copies right now. I'm highly doubt we'll get that lucky, but as long as we get at least 2, it should be fine. Let's see, what do we get here? Come on, 2 or more. Ah, we only got 1. That's not what we want to see, but oh well. Apparently we got more of the event done. Some free event keys. Got some mail. That's from our PvP tier, which apparently we still haven't done all of PvP yet. But anyways, we're going to continue not to do it because we need to go do the faction event. Before I do, let me go do dungeons. Also, good news! Salty gave us more codes. Finally. But only took 9 days. But we finally got them. Yeah, I told her on her stream last night, so we were able to get them. And we'll hand one out probably after we finish to first orb on the dungeons on the event. That shouldn't take too long. It's like 3-4 delves, not even. The first few go down so quick because they're all low stats. Is there a way to restart a Gems of War account? No. You just have to make a new one. Though they did fix the account switching system a little bit better. They basically fixed the text that made it seem like you're deleting your account whenever you switch your account. Do keep in mind, if you link your account and if you completely link your account with password and email and everything, and then you go and link another account with password and everything, you can switch between those 2 accounts on one single version, or even between a version. So let's say you have one on your mobile and you have one on your PC, but you want to go play your mobile one on your PC. You can keep switching between those and on the exact same version, and it won't completely overwrite the other account. Like if both of them are running on one account and both of them then switch over to the other account, it's not like that account will be deleted. And they basically fixed some text there that made it kind of seem like it would be, but it's not. Normally you wouldn't really do that often, but it is a feature that has actually always been around. It's just the way that they had the wording on the screen made it seem like you were deleting your account and if you ended up switching it. But that is not the case. So you would need to make sure you remember the email attached to it and the password, though. Have that written down somewhere. You can also see what it is in game by simply clicking on it in the settings menu, in the normal settings menu. Not the one in game anymore, since it now shows all that info. But on a normal settings menu, if you just click show password, it'll show your password thing, assuming you have it linked. And I definitely do highly advise linking your account in case it ever gets lost during a version or whatever else. It's super ridiculously easy to recover within seconds if you know what once you have it linked and you just put the password and email in, it pretty much immediately gets recovered within seconds. So good to have that info around. Anyways, what was the other thing I was doing? Oh yeah, we were doing that, and now let's go do the faction events. Still haven't touched it yet, but let's go and do this. It's been a while since we've been here. We haven't touched this since it came out a month ago. So, been a while, but let's go and do it. Of course, the path for this delve is normally this room, this room, this room. Figure out what you want for these few, and go down this circle until you hit the boss room. That's pretty much the path you will do for all of these. We'll buy the tier 1 real quick, because why not? We're going to most likely need to, and might as well get the free enchant. And let's go from there. So, fights. Obviously, we'll not be doing that team. That's what you use at higher levels. However, that is not what we're using here. Let's see, we do have Apothecary. What are the color restrictions here again? I actually completely forget. We could still use, yeah, we could use Gargoyle still. And Tina teams. Actually, you know what? Let's go to Tina method. I've been liking using Tina lately. Let's just go all in with Tina. We won't be able to do Weaver, though. I guess we'll just double up on Tina or something. I'm pretty sure we don't have... Oh, no, never mind. We do have Weaver. Wait, what on earth is the color? It has to be brown-green, then, if that's the case. Oh, yeah, isn't it +2 brown, +1 green, -1 blue or something? The banner of this delve. It was this one over here. Where'd it go? That one. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Okay, that's not the banner we need, though. The banner we need, though, is this one. +2 brown, +1 blue. Actually, we already had it set. There we go. And, yeah, let's roll with this for now. Should be fine. Let me change my hero class to one that we can gain free EXP on. We just got it to level 70 the other day as well, so we get a little bit of extra mana. A little bit of extra yellow, which is pretty irrelevant, but hey, better than nothing. Oh, I just realized something. There's one thing that page is missing. Well, there's a couple things that this page is missing. That other page. But, yeah, I wonder if anyone mentioned this to them yet. I might need to on the forum. Because I never showed this publicly until today. Or yesterday, I should say. But, there's some other things that page is missing. There's no way to see the enemy's banner. Or your own banner, for that matter. Nowhere does it show what banner each team is running with. Yeah, no banner available. Huh. I guess they could put that right there instead of adding a title. I'd still like to see title there, though, too. But, I don't know. There's room there. There's room in between if they could somehow fit that in asset-wise. Maybe they could put it all the way on the left and right side. Like the banner over there and there. I don't know. But, yeah, where's banner? There is no display of banner anywheres on this screen. I have no clue what banner he's using, and we have no clue what banner we're using. Of course, you can see that at the start of battle. However, in battle, there's still no way to check what banner you're using. So if I forgot what banner I'm using right now, even though I do remember, we'd have no clue what it is still. But I kind of expected they would have added that to that too, but apparently not. They might have just forgotten or ran out of room or something. I still feel like they could fit it, though. Oh, I could have weavered there. Could have already won. Whoops. And there we go. Oh yeah, I didn't chest a new troops gold stealing. Let me go do that. I was going to go do that, then I took the revenge battle, but then I forgot to actually go take the battle because we were using Egg Thief and it kind of distracted me. Okay, let me go take a really weak battle and just go show this real quick. But yeah, let's see how the gold steal works now and see if they actually fixed the bug with it. It has been glitched for forever. Bandit was the first troop to get the mechanic, and that was added, like, what, several months ago? Actually, a while ago. But even more than several months. But his mechanic has been broken, and they added a new troop that has the same broken mechanic. But yeah, let's go try getting a mana. So he's kind of blocked on 1.5 billion things, but let's go get him his mana that he needs. And go to that. Let's see, what do we need? Do I throw a bronze lock? Sure, why not? Start getting some more mana off of it. And I always have to take a bunch of greens and reds. How much gold's he currently at? He currently has 4 gold. Well, that's not going to show much. But still, it's more than nothing. So if this works correctly, he should have 0 gold, and this should do 24 damage. Will it do that? It did 24 damage, and he has 0 gold. I think they might have finally fixed it. Let's go try testing on a Cedric team. Hopefully we can actually find a Cedric team. Of course, whenever I don't want to find it, they're everywhere. But let's go find a key team. That'd be the best one to try to show it on. Key team. Let me just repick these. Oh, there we go. We got a key team. Perfect. Okay, let's go see what it does against a key team. Because he'll have 1.5 billion gold for us to show. Okay, we'll do that since he got frozen. So now he has 62 gold out of 200. What did it take there? Grab that down. Grab our yellow. For a pistol just killed it. Never mind. There we go. We go get him all the way to full mana so we can actually cast him. Oh, wait, never mind. That's just going to block him. Whoops. That's going to be weird to try to cast this. Forgot about that because I can't actually cast Ward Breaker. Otherwise, it's going to mess it up. Our mana accumulation. There we go. Okay. So this should kill him. So this should bring him down to 48 gold. It should bring us to, 48 gold. It should bring us to 100. And it should kill him, obviously. Can't see the exact damage, but it should kill. Nope, it's broken. It just lowered him to 0 gold. But it might have been because the battle ended. I guess we'll try it again. Here we go. Here's a bunch of gold thingies. Let's see if it works correctly against these. But that might have been because it was the end of battle. But it just lowered him to 0 gold. Which means he stole way more than 50. Let's see. We're going to deliberately not cast Ward Breaker. This is a really weird team to be testing it on. But it will. So how much gold does he have now? 40. That's good. Keep getting more. I'm going to give him those greens. Actually, no, I'm not. I lied. I need that mana. Okay, how much gold is that now? So now we can test both of it. So this should lower him to 30 gold. And it should do 70 damage, which means it should kill. So let's see what happens. he does die. And it does reduce his gold. Wait, did it do it by the correct amount? It went down to 50 there. Oh, but never mind. That's why. That did work correctly. The reason it's showing 50 and not 30 is because he gets another 20 gold when this dies. Or 25 gold. Wait. Why did it only give him 20 then? That's weird. We stole 50 from his 80. That lowered him to 30. But for whatever reason, does this trait only give 20 gold and not 25? Or did it give him 30? No, it gave him 30 gold instead of 25. That's weird. Is that actually doing that? Let me go kill one and see. I never actually paid attention to them. But, no, it gave 20 gold. What? That's weird. It does not give the number that it says. That's the only thing I know. Like, that one, it looked like it gave 30, but these are just giving... Oh, wait. Wait. It's because he has Cedric in play. Ah. Never mind. It's doing 50, actually. Wait, that doesn't make any sense to the other thing then, though. I'm thoroughly confused. But, yeah, since all of them have the 25% extra gold, that means that it's doubling their gold, so that should be 50 each time then. Why does it seem like some of those aren't giving 50, though? But now it is, but, it seemed like on the earlier one it didn't. That's weird. But anyways, yeah, that makes sense that he's gaining 50, duh, because he has a 100% gold bonus. So it seems to be working somewhat correct. It's doing the damage correct. I'm not sure if it's doing the amount of steel correct. Let me go find, like, a normal Cedric team. That's the easiest thing to try testing it on. Come on, Cedric. Any key team. Preferably a weaker one. Or really anything that has a lot of gold gain that isn't those things. Let's see. Hello? Any gold team? No one using gold defend anymore? Not like it matters if you use gold defend, which is probably why not many people are using it. Did we just test it on rings again? It's really weird to try testing it on, though. Just because they gain gold when they die. Okay, here we go. Finally got a Cedric team. But yeah, it looks like it might be stealing all of their gold, which might have been why it moved to 50. And not, it looked like it moved by only 20, but it might have just been that it lowered it down to 0. So I think this is working incorrectly. It seems to steal up to all of their gold, and it will only give you 50 of it, apparently. Maybe that's what it's doing. Okay, let's get this exact. Let's make sure we have under 100 gold, or under 50 gold. I want to see if this will... I need him to get max gold, and I need us to have a gold amount that is less than 50. I just need to manually take greens or red, which of course is nowhere to be seen. Let's see. I don't want to take the extra turn. We'll just give him a skull. That should give us some greens. Oh, don't move that to first. Well, I guess this works. Okay. Anyways, what's his gold number at? Hopefully it's above 50 at this point. Yes, it is. So it's at 80. So I believe it's... What it will do... This might not actually be glitched. It just has really weird wording. So what this does is it steals all the gold from the enemy, but you only get to keep up to 50 of it. And it boosts ratios based on that up to 50 amount, is what I am gathering from this. So, to know for sure, let's go hit on hero. And what should happen is... Oh, no! You can no longer change animation speed in battle! Oh, no! Wait, never mind. Yes, you can. I forgot. You can change settings on top of settings. Okay, never mind. You can still change it. I was gonna say, don't get rid of features. I don't think they've ever gotten rid of features before. There we go. Boom. Now we can go do that. You just have to go to the other menu. Let the stream just go down. It better not be permanently down. Okay, there we go. We're back now. Anyways, let's go and test this. So what should happen right here? Here's the full breakdown of what should happen. We steal all of the gold. We get to keep up to 50 of it. It'll boost ratio based on that up to 50 for what will be basically a maximum of 70 damage. And that should be what happens. So basically, this should go down to 0. This should go up to 70. And this should do 70 damage. Will that happen, or will it do something else? So here's what we're currently at. So that should be 70, that should be 0, and the damage amount should be 70 because of 20 plus 50. Will it do exactly that? In slow motion. So the damage it does is... 70, that's correct. That should go to 70, because we gained 50. And he should be 0 gold. Our gold amount. It doesn't appear to have been touched. So it's still glitched. But that seems to be what that wording says. But, okay. So that's what that does now. It's still somewhat glitched, but not as glitched. Apparently. That's cool. But still not fully fixed. We didn't gain the gold. We should have gained 50 gold from that. That's what the word steal means. But, yeah, that's unfortunate. We don't actually gain the gold. However, his damage does calculate correctly now. And it steals all the enemy's gold. Even though it's kind of hard to tell based on that wording. Seems like it would only steal up to 50, but no, it does steal all of it. But you only get effective up to 50, but it doesn't give you any of the gold. So, if anything, it's just really weird wording on the ability. But it's mostly acting correctly now. Keyword on mostly. Still not completely. Yeah, it's still weird. I wouldn't ever bother using it, obviously. But, it's somewhat fixed. Only partially, though. But now we know. Anyways, let's go do this event already. I feel like we haven't even touched it, and we're already like an hour into the stream. But let's go get these done. Should be pretty quick, though. We have one of the better teams to be using for, and even if we didn't, we'd most likely still have gargoyles, hopefully, or some other option that'd work decently. Well, I need to tell if you can use gargoyles, you can use similar to this team. Because most of this team's just Tina, though Apothecary does help make it actually really viable due to its speed. And Weaver helps some, but it's mainly the Apothecary into Tina that makes it. Same as Apothecary into gargoyles if you didn't want to run with Tina or you don't own Tina. Okay, we'll throw that down. That'll wipe out most of the team, and now we just take a skull or a anything. We'll do that. Boom. Have to carry away all these reds, and he's dead. Okay. What was this? 1.2, 1.25, 1.15, and okay. Apparently, we'll go this way, even though it's treasure room. Take the bullet off to the right, and it'll just go down the little curve over there. Yeah, Tina 9000, there's plenty of replacements for if you don't currently have it. Well, I shouldn't say plenty of replacements, but, you know, if you're, for delve purposes, Gargoyle is basically the same thing. Catcher's the Bull if you already own it. If you're just doing it for sheer damage, it's perfectly fine for these earlier delves as well. So at that point, you're better off just using gargoyles. And it's really only in true damage teams would it specifically have to be a Tina. But no, Tina is definitely avoidable. You don't have to necessarily get it really quick. It's a nice trip to have, but I wouldn't consider as one of the absolute best. It's still just more towards average, slightly above average probably. But it's not one of the ones you would go out of your way for. There's plenty of troops that already do similar to it. Some of which you might already have. Definitely the gargoyles, if nothing else. What is the counter to key on Guild Wars? Pretty much everything counters key on Guild Wars. Key team on defend is pretty weak. The only thing you really have to worry about is the stealthy on Egg Thief. And I guess if stealthy is also on their hero. But running it with a stun, running it with an AoE mana drain, stuff like that normally works out pretty well for it, against it. How am I getting to the PvP menu? What do you mean by that? Do you mean that little screen that I keep bringing up that has all those stats on it? Oh, that reminds me. We also need to go mess around with Jinx and see how that works. But do you mean this menu? All you do is click escape if you're on keyboard, start if you're on controller, or click the button on the top right corner if you're on PC or mobile. Or a Nintendo Switch on handheld. But I don't think a Nintendo Switch got the patch yet. But yeah, I keep bringing it up just with the escape button here, which is how I bring it up so quickly. And we can see how long a battle takes. So that was 35 seconds. Basically just add like 5 seconds to whatever that final thing is, because of all the in-between screens and everything. If you were doing something like Explore and you want to know how long your battle just was, basically just add 5 seconds to whatever that number is as soon as you click it at the end of battle. Because that's about how long it's going to take to go through all the in-between screens. We don't have a good cast there. Let's go for Mountain Crusher. And then we Tina the Skull. Of all the things to not die, though, we still have enough damage to kill him, luckily. And he's dead. Hello, Ray! You're just blowing the dust off your Elgato and setting it up so you can stream, primarily for Guild Wars and such. Can you tell you if you've estimated setting OBS have given in any good? I haven't tried doing the resetting my settings anytime soon. It is something I probably do need to look into in the future, because that could be affecting my connection some. But I haven't bothered changing it for 2 years now. It's been about 2 years. I'll probably be changing it again once I finally switch to a different program, because I'll probably redo it all for that, just to make sure it's all nice. But yeah, I haven't reset my bitrate or anything for like 2 years now. I did all the testing for it initially. I forget what you normally have to do for it. I just looked up a bunch of videos and it's like, oh, okay, that's how you do it. And just followed them. But I completely forget how to check for all that. So I would not be a good person to ask in that regard. That is one aspect of it I do forget. We'll have a code soon. I was going to do it when we have the orb. Though at this point, we'll probably do it at the end of this delve. And never mind, we just hit the end of this delve. So we'll probably hand out a code now. Let's see. Let's go hand out a code. I didn't forget about it. I was just going to do it based on a different condition. But might as well hand it out now. We already went on for like nearly an hour now. So might as well. Let's see. This code does not exist. Salty? Oh, wait, never mind. I added a space bar. I was going to say, did she already give me codes that don't work? There we go. No, it works. I just forgot a space. But there you go. There's the redeem code you use on gemsofwar.com underneath the game code section. Or sorry, what did I'm all over the place. But click on that link and you can use the redeem code. Your invite code is found underneath your settings menu. Whatever your game says there. They have slightly changed the location, though it's pretty much the same location as before. Whatever your game says there in orange text is what you put in. Redeem code's right over there. Just copy paste that. The random numbers and letters. You use it on that website right there. Just click that link. gemsofwar.com underneath the game code section. And give same reward as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, 2,500 gold. And it works on every version except for the console versions. So basically PC mobile. Is 5,742 a good bitrate? And frames per second 60. Bitrate seems good. As far as frames per second, you normally want to run streams on 30 frames per second unless you have a ridiculously good connection. I personally run my streams on 720-30 while I run my videos on 1080p 60. But that is mainly because for videos, it doesn't really matter how good your connection is. The only thing that how good your connection is will affect how quickly it uploads. It will not have any effect on like a stream or anything because, well, you're not streaming, so it doesn't really need your bandwidth or anything like that. But yeah, I do my videos in 1080p 60, but all my streams are in 720-30. Because unless you have a really good connection, you are probably not going to be able to go much beyond 1080-30. Like if you try doing 1080-60, you will probably lag a lot. Unless your connection is really good. I'll throw a Mountain Crusher down. Which I probably should just weaver it into Tina, but oh well. And he's dead. Hello, Daryl. Welcome. Okay, we'll grab all that. Get ourselves a blue right over there. That'll bring us to full mana. We can then go apothecary away all of the purple here and go get that rolling. You don't have Tesla. So what do you use for double Dwarven Valkyrie? You can use Hero with Black Manacle. Would probably be your best bet. Hero with Black Manacle. Black Manacle you get at around, I forget the exact value, but you need around 25 brown and purple hero mastery. The one specifically that you get whenever you gain a hero level. That needs to be around 25 for both brown and purple. I forget the exact number. It might be 23, 23. It's somewhere around there. But once you get that, you get Black Manacles. And running it with Double Dwarven Gate Valkyrie Black Manacles would be okay. It's not as good as Tesla. However, you would be able to gain hero class XP for hero classes that you don't already have maxed. So that would be a bit of a benefit. So whatever hero class you currently want to level, like Titan or whatever else you might want to go do, Thief hero class, stuff like that, you can just simply use that there and gain mana for it. I mean, gain EXP for it. And it would work out decently. That would start falling off by late game low, but if you're under level 500, you could probably get away with that team. Especially if you're just doing 1 trophy and 2 trophy battles. Mobile doesn't have the update yet. I believe some versions of mobile did. Yeah, it might not have rolled down on every single version yet. It will be very soon, though. Maybe they're having trouble with the Apple version again or something, I'm not sure. Though if it doesn't happen in the next few hours, they'll probably have more info posted on the forum or on their social media or both. Throw down the purple. Get a Tina going. Android has it, so yeah, it's probably just the Apple version then. Yeah, also make sure if there's an update to double check for updates. If there's any button that you can click to check for updates. Because there might already be the update and just might not have went automatically. I know I have my Steam set to automatically. I believe I have my Nintendo Switch to do it automatically as well. But sometimes you have to actually manually click the check update button thingy. Here we go, on to the next battle. And do keep in mind, I believe I put it in the title of this stream too, but this is the last faction event before we get a new faction. So this is the last time to grind for shards and stuff prior to the new faction coming out. So you might want to get on that if you haven't already. Definitely at least do the free battles with nothing else, or, you know, do all the rewards like you normally would. But if you have a lot of spare gems and you still need some extra shards, you might want to throw a few spare right now. I guess you could also just save that for next event. But of course, if you just keep moving forward, it's going to become a little bit harder to do. Like, obviously, doing around level 100s are going to be a bit easier than if you were to just go and spam level 500 on Friday to try to get shards. Because normally, beyond level 200, you generally, more often than not, will start skipping every room. Or, you know, you'll only go to the final instead of doing every room. I personally probably will still be doing every room. Even though it takes longer just because we're going to be using an instant kill team. So it shouldn't matter as much, but still a factor. Because once you start getting deep, like 200 plus, it does become really time consuming to kill everything. Unless you're using an instant kill team, like Iron Gut, Zugov, stuff like that. Stuff like that doesn't actually care what their stats are. For the most part, it'll win at about the same speed regardless. Which is why I normally do every room since we have that. But if you're using something different, then it would be way, way slower to try to do every room once you start reaching that point. I will just go for a Weaver here and that should kill. And let's throw the Teen at it. Yeah, getting mic audio correct is very annoying when you're trying to set up a stream. Mics always like to be bad, even good mics. This isn't like the greatest of quality mic, but it's normally what like the mid-range one most people use. It's a Blue Yeti. It's around, these days you could probably get it on sale pretty often for about $100. End up picking it up for about $130 when I end up getting it. But it's been out for so long now that it's normally on sales. Yeah, it's generally like the mid-range microphone that most people tend to go for. Might eventually upgrade, but for now it seems to be good. If I'm going to upgrade anything though, I'm probably going to upgrade the webcam first. I currently use Logitech C920, I believe it is. I believe they're currently up to C933. They also have a 4K version of it now, though it's like $200. I've been keeping an eye on it, though, to see if it'll ever go on a sale. If it ever drops below 150, I might get a 4K, webcam. And if nothing else, even if I don't use it for its 4K aspect, I would want to use it for its 1080p 60 aspect, because currently the webcam I'm doing right now only has 1080p 30 as its cap. It does not have a 60 frames per second option, and that's what I'm currently using now, the 1080p 30 option on it. But something like that's only like $50. Let's see. I believe its full retail is like 100, but it's been out for so long that it's normally on sales. I think I paid like 40 or something for it during Black Friday or somewhere around there, that time. Can you use the warp weapon on the pure faction teams? No. Pure faction teams have to be 4 of the faction troops. Even if you use the faction weapon, it does not count as a faction troop. You have to use 4 of the faction troops. You can use multiple of the same, but it has to be faction. So, for example, if you were to do Dark Pit's pure faction, you have to use these 4 troops. You could double up on them, triple up, or even quad up if you wanted to. But you'll have to only use these 4. These are the only 4 that you can use. And same as any other faction. Whatever faction you're in, those 4 troops that show up underneath the thing are the only things you can use. You cannot use hero, you cannot use any other troop for it to count as pure faction. You could use like 2 or 3 or 4 of one of these if you wanted to, but it has to be those 4. Any combination of those 4 or multiplying, or any combination of those 4 or using multiple of any of those 4, but it has to be those 4 for every faction, and anything else will not count as pure faction. Not even the faction weapon counts as pure faction. Which seems weird. You would kind of expect at least the faction's weapon to count, but it doesn't. Probably because they were afraid like something like Titan Hero would be too way overpowered for it, which it probably would be. Titan Hero could probably solo any delve with the faction weapon with enough luck, which is probably why they didn't have it like that, because it would be way too easy if they did. Or maybe not way too easy, but it'd be way easier than it is now. Should you be getting this faction's weapon? I forget. Was this faction a good weapon? I forget what it was. Let me go check. No, this faction's weapon is completely useless. There's no viable purpose for this weapon. I would completely ignore it. Do keep in mind, if you don't get this weapon now, you'll be able to get it again in 9 weeks from now. So if you didn't already get it, you still can. These do keep reoccurring. All the faction weapons do keep reoccurring. The amount of time that they keep reoccurring on keeps getting longer and longer. Every new delve keeps making it longer. Right now it's 8 weeks, but now it's going to be 9 weeks starting this Friday, the rotation for each delve. However, those weapons do keep coming back. Also, I believe it's in Soulforge right now, too. You don't have to spend gems on it if you don't want. I think it's actually just cheaper overall just to kind of get it through gems. But if you want to craft it, I believe on the day that or the weekend that's available. Yeah, Pit Knife, there it is. You can craft it for 200 diamonds, 400 or 2 colors, 10,000 souls, and 2 celestials. So if you don't want to throw the gems down, though it's pretty cheap. It's only like, what, 300 or so gems or so? But if you don't want to throw that many gems, you can just craft it as well, assuming your Soul Forge is level 9 and you have those resources. Though that would break into some diamonds, but it's a pretty small amount. But yeah, either or of those. It's a pretty underwhelming weapon, though. You would mainly just get it for completionist purposes, just to own it. You would never actually use the weapon. What do we take here? We'll get a yellow down. And Mount Crush everything. And it was Tina into the Weaver. An extra wipe. If anyone still has any other questions, let me know. And I'll make sure to go over them all. Otherwise, mainly the thing we're doing for the rest of this stream is mainly just finishing out all these factions over the next half an hour or so. What's so great about Titan class, aside from 50% mana and rock solid, it has explode every extra turn. It has the option of switching into enrage every extra turn. But one of the most relevant things is currently it is the only hero class that has Barrier every Brown while also starting with Brown Storm. But yeah, the three biggest things that make it viable is Explode every extra turn on a yellow, Brown Storm into gain Barrier every Brown. That combination basically makes it one of the tankiest troops in the entire game, while also having decent offense since it's constantly gaining more mana. It starts with half mana, and if you didn't want that explosion for whatever reason, you can opt that out for Enrage instead, which makes it really good against things that you would use Skull Spam on. And there are a lot of Brown Skull Spam teams. Almost every Brown, or almost every single one of the main Skull Spammers, except for a few of the double converters, are all underneath the Brown category. But yeah, Titan's still the best hero class in the game. That might change some, and there are hero classes that are pretty close to it. Titan's pretty high up there. Plague Lord's pretty high up there. Sentinel, under some circumstances, are pretty high up there, and a few others like that. But for the most part, I would say the biggest, most relevant three are Titan, Thief, and Plague Lord in that order. So you do want to make sure you get Plague Lord's weapon. Plague Lord's weapon is currently the best weapon of any faction. I mean, of any hero class, I mean. It's basically what Dragon's Eye was before it was nerfed, combined with Mountain Crusher. It's an insanely good weapon. They basically took the best two weapons in the entire game and combined it into one weapon for whatever reason. Why they did that, I have no clue, but that's basically what they did. And made Essence of Evil out of it. Do we take those? Grab that for now. Take the other brown. Take the other brown, and that's match. Just do that to Tina. I mean, that to Weaver, I mean. Fire Ruby Staff. A lot of people say Fire Ruby Staff is pretty decent. It can be. I personally am not too huge a fan of that weapon, but it's an okay weapon. It's basically like Rowan, except for your hero, basically, is what that weapon is. Or kind of like a Ketris for your hero, kind of. It's definitely a decent weapon. I personally don't like using it much, though. At least how my playstyle normally is, I don't like it. But it's definitely an okay weapon. A lot of the more recent weapons they've been adding are pretty good. Even stuff like Winter's Orb, even though I don't use it too often, is a really good Dawnbringer alternative for early game. Stuff like that. Also, thank you for the subscribe, Micromation. Greatly appreciated. Oh, did he just drain? Okay, never mind. He didn't drain anything relevant. I thought he drained my Apothecary for a second. He did not. There we go. And we'll throw our browns that we need. Go to the last little bit of our mana. And it was Apothecary into Tina. Actually, no, we don't even need that. That's enough to Weaver kill. That is 43 damage, which is enough to kill. There we go. So that should be about enough for the orb. Almost. We'll have it on the next two battles. Looks like after we finish out the boss room. Yeah, Gorgo is definitely a fun trip to mess around. It's good throughout the entirety of the game. As soon as you have the initial level 10 all-attack kingdoms, it starts to become really viable. Every instance beyond that point is really good. It's good in everything. It's good in Guild Wars. It's good in lower level Tower of Doom. It's good in lower level Delves. It's good for PvP. You can't really use it for quick explore and stuff, though, but for pretty much everything other than that, it's pretty solid. You don't use it for super high-level content, though, but for stuff that are similar to your stats, it's really solid. It just doesn't upscale that well. Even if you have something like a good Devour, like High King Iron Gut, it still doesn't upscale too well. But anything that has similar stats, it works really insanely good on. What do we take here? None of it's really that viable. I might just wait a turn, actually. I'm just going to skip my turn and wait till we get to 2 mana from that, and then try Apothecarying the better board, since we'll have plenty more options now. I probably should have just done that on red, but oh well. Throw the Tina down, and now he's Mountain Crusher back to full mana, and that should be match. Oh no, it got webbed. Never mind. We might need to go use Weaver. Actually, no, that's still enough to kill. We'll do this. That'll obviously do a very small amount of damage. However, it does bring it to Weaver range, and then we kill it with Weaver. There we go. Oh, you know what? I probably could have taken a Skull. That might have been enough as well, but oh well. There it is, and let's go claim our first orb, the first of 2. What do we have? Something good, come on. Anything of value. We get ourselves a orange orb. That would be good on our other account, but on this account, that is useless. Unfortunate, but oh well. Okay, we got about 3 more floors we gotta do, actually 4 more. So we're halfway there. Basically 3 more until we have all rewards, but 4 more until we get the final sigil. I'll probably just stream until we get the rewards. I'll do the other one off stream. But move that over. But yeah, definitely make sure to be doing your factions if you haven't been. I know I personally sometimes skip them. I'm not sure if other people in late game do, but you definitely want to make sure you have at least a few thousand shards for next Friday. To get everything maxed immediately, I believe you need around 8,000 or so shards, give or take a few thousand. But anywhere from like 5,000 to 10,000 normally. But 8,000 is normally a pretty good amount. 6,000 to 8,000 is normally about enough. If you want to get all that maxed immediately, you need about that many. And if you want to own 1 copy of all the troops, you need about 1,000 or so. 1,000 to 2,000, depends how lucky or unlucky you get. Theoretically, do it within 200, but of course, if you could get unlucky and it takes like 3,000 to get 1 of all copies. Highly advise getting Mirage Queen. Gonna be probably one of the best legends they've ever added from a faction so far. Has a lot of options. It's decent scroll spam. It has the best curse in the entire game as of currently, or, you know, once it gets added. At that moment in time, it'll be the best curse option. And it probably will be for at least a few months, unless they add a mythic that does it way better. And it also gives elementals half mana start, which will always make it relevant, because there's a lot of good elementals out there, and they're only going to keep adding more over time. A lot of the 50% mana start troops, even the more useless ones, are eventually going to be extremely meta in the future. As more and more gets added to the game, it's only a matter of time before every single 50% mana start troop becomes really broken. We already saw it happen with Divines, and they already nerfed it to 40%. But as time progresses, it's just going to become more and more relevant for everything. Hopefully they move it back to 50% eventually, though. Doesn't make much sense that they are just basically saying that Divines are better than every other type in the game. Is basically what that says. But hopefully they'll actually rebalance the game so they can move it back to 50%. The only thing that's really broken with it currently is Rope Dart Team. But after that, it wouldn't really be too big a deal if they move it back to 50%, I don't feel like. Wish they would already. But they might eventually. Is the Pit Knight worth getting? No. Pit Knife is pretty useless. You would only get it for collection purposes. I would just save your gems and resources and get the new weapon this Friday. Actually, I'm not even sure what the new weapon is this Friday. I haven't actually seen it yet. The preview thread didn't have it yet when I currently looked. So I actually don't know what the new weapon will do. If I had to guess, it probably has some kind of curse option on it. How good it will be is in question, but I don't know. It might be good, might not be good. But we'll find out. It'll either be something that boosts based on elementals, or something that's synergized with elementals, or it'll be some kind of curse. One of those 3, most likely. Okay, I'm going to keep that treasure room in the top left corner. Let's hopefully not forget. I have done that, I think, once for this faction, where I skip the top left treasure room, and then I go around the curved circle, and then I completely forget that I didn't do the top left treasure room, and because I save it for last. Because it's all the way in the corner in the exact opposite direction that we need to look in. Okay, well, Martina will wipe that. Why did I cast this without having extra turn confirmation? Luckily, we did have one, though. We'll take that, and now it's Tina to win. Unless it's super low, and it doesn't. And even if it did, Weaver would have wiped. Yeah, I really wish we would get a better extra turn option that can give all stats to troops. Currently, the best thing for that is actually Humility. But the problem with a lot of the troops that currently gain stats to everything, or at least to attack, HP, and armor, is what quite a few troops have, like Tauruses and stuff. The biggest issue with all of those troops is none of them have it off of extra turn. The closest thing we have is Humility, as far as something that can boost all of them while having extra turn potential. But they really need to add a better option for it eventually. And we probably will eventually, but as it currently stands, I don't recall anything that does that properly. There are several things that do, but they all end their turn, which is normally not worth it to end your turn just for a stat buff. Unless it's a really amazing stat buff. But even ones that have, like, particularly good ones, like even, like, Emperina, which has one of the slightly better buffs in the game. Not the absolute best, but it's pretty high up there. It's almost never used just because it's the fact that it has no extra turn potential just makes it too slow in the context of most battles. Because that's still the only troop in the game that has a full heal to another ally. There's plenty of other healers, but it's the only one that does full heal to a whole nother ally. Maybe if they eventually switch it so it fully heals itself and the thing it targets. Like if it did its full buff to itself and the target, it'd probably be a lot better. But it only does its target. Friday weapon is Last Harbor. Deal magic plus 7 damage. Oh wait! Did we actually get to see what it was? Oh, I guess they did finally update it. Maybe they updated it on Monday, because I haven't actually checked since Sunday night. But let's see. Friday's weapon, Last Harbor, deal magic plus 7 damage to the first enemy, boosted by Doom Skulls. If the enemy is an elemental, deal double damage, then knock them to last position. Oh yeah, it's a pretty bad weapon, unless it has really good other perks. That's not really going to be used for much. Elementals aren't used that much, and even with 50% mana start, they're not going to become meta. There are some meta teams that are going to be ran, but you're not going to see it on like every defend team. Some people might run it, but it's pretty easy to counter around without having to use that weapon. Like even just a simple mana drain will completely cripple any elemental team. Almost no elementals have immune to that kind of stuff. Most elementals are based on magic casting damage for the most part. Most elementals are just based on having really good casts. Yeah, the Doom Scythe is just like all the other Doom weapons. All 6 of the Doom Color Pure weapons are going to be pretty good. The ones that actually do damage, those are going to be the better of the Doom weapons between the two. You keep adding ones that do some HP, and then the other ones that do all those Doom Skulls and damage. The ones that do those Doom Skull and damage are pretty decent for every single one. Not sure which one of the 6 I would say is the absolute best, but all of them are decent to some degree. Get rid of all those stats effects. Throw another one of those down. And I'll wipe. No, it won't. Never mind. Follow-up will wipe, though. Oh, or that skull. Yep, there we go. Well, there's our follow-up. And apparently we'll gain a level. Level 1 for 1,434. Very soon. Probably before we finish out these does. But anyways, room 60. Let's go claim our next reward. I need to go open that vault key once we get that. Also, did I ever open the previous vault key? Yes, I did. I already opened that. But we'll open up this next one once we get it. And 1.5 more delves. Let's see what's our layout. I guess we just did a normal order. Am I planning on doing a video on the new update? Yes, I will be briefly going over the new update to some degree. I did go over on this stream, but I will be covering it specifically in a video. Let's see. We'll throw that down. Get a Weaver. But yeah, there's not too much to go over in the video, but I'll try to mention everything that's relevant. Like maybe showing off Jinx, showing off the that one other troop, that how he steals or something, and stuff like that. Things that we can actually use those resources for. I'd probably just show like maybe like a few teams that end up coordinating with it or something. Because the video is going to be pretty short if I just go over changes. It's basically, hey, there's this screen that exists now. Go over setting screen. Hey, this looks better now. Boom. That's the entirety of the patch, basically. And a few like little small rebalance that made almost no change at all. No difference to the meta. The only relevant troop they changed is Wolf Garrick, but even that basically changes nothing. It just makes War Gears less useless, but they're already still pretty useless. Oh, why did I do that? I could have just won with Weaver. But now we win with Tina. Oh, wait, did he just do a magic reduce? Never mind. I should have Weavered that. Could have already won. Oh, well. It's not like he's going to kill us. There we go. Yeah, they did buff Catharix. They finally did buff Catharix. It's not to a point where it's usable, but they did buff it. But yeah, the full changelog's in description if anyone wants to see it. Pretty short one. Obviously, this was a mini patch before we get the bigger one in about a month or so. Probably in mid-June. So no official date. Or probably not mid-June, probably more so late June. But yeah, sometime around that ballpark time. Like late June or early July. Should most likely be getting a pretty major patch. What that will have, we do not know, but we'll probably have more info on that in about a few weeks or a month from now. And hopefully I'll get to beta test it. They didn't do any beta testing for this one, though, obviously, because there was almost nothing to even beta test. I wish they would have gotten more opinion on that screen, because there are some things still missing from it. The screen is still missing banner. Now that this timer's here, it should probably be at the end of battle as well. They still don't have the hero XP at the end of battle, and they could probably fit title here, or use that space for banner. And what was the other thing that's not shown here? I think that was mainly it. There's basically banner, maybe title, show this timer at end of battle, and what was that fourth one? Show class XP at end of battle, like your total class XP. Actually surprised that wasn't added this patch. Been requested a lot of times, not sure why they haven't done it yet. Throw that. Get a mountain crystal down. And it was get to Tina. Oh, you finally crafted Dawnbringer on Sunday. Very nice. Yeah, Dawnbringer is a really nice weapon to have. It's still the best thing to run in Arena. That'll probably always be the case, at least in the current state of Arena. Ooh, Cedric Room. Do we grab it? We're not really using a gold team, but I guess I grab it. Why not? It'll still give us a little bit more gold for the rest of these battles. Not like a huge amount, but since we're not actually using a gold farming team. But every little bit adds up. Like right there, instead of getting 5 gold, we would have gotten 25 gold. Because we would have gotten 400% more gold onto the base value of 4. Right now we're just getting 1 extra because of 25% off of, what's her name? Off of Apothecary. Oh, should have taken a skull. Could have won with that. Oh well. Let's throw a Weaver or that. That works too. Oh yeah, some of the older hero classes are in dire need of a buff. Sorcerer is probably one of the most blatant ones. They literally have traits on last trait hero classes that can add 1 to all skills per turn to your entire team, like Bard that has it for yellow allies. Yet Sorcerer only has a 50% chance that will gain 1 magic. Yet even if you only use Bard with 1 yellow being your hero class, it gains 1 to all stats 100% of the time per turn. Whereas Sorcerer is just a 50% chance just for 1 magic. So that doesn't really make much sense. If anything, that should be buffed these days to be like a 100% chance for 3 magic or something like that. That or make it so it gains a... I don't know, maybe not that. I was going to say, make it so it gains enchant at the start of every turn. I guess that could be okay. I forget if it has enchant on one of its other trees. That would kind of be counterproductive if it did. But that'd be kind of cool if a hero class or anything got that. Gain enchant at the start of every turn, so that it perpetually gains 2 mana every turn forever. That'd be a lot more useful than its current +1 magic occasionally. They either have to buff that magic by a lot or do something like that, because it doesn't even have half mana start. It's supposed to be a casting hero class that is horrible at casting. It's really weird. Ever since they added perks to the game, it has been one of the most useless hero classes. Because it's a casting class that has a outdated trait with no half mana start, which makes it pointless to any hero class that does have half mana start, since all of them cast better than it. Let's see. We'll go do that. Get a skull over there. Get our Tina down. Grab all that. And what else we need? Guess we just Tina kill it. What about someone who doesn't have a lot of mythics? For what? For running this delve? If you don't have a lot of mythics, you could be running it as simple as Mountain Crusher, Apothecary, Gargoyle. And you could do that for all of these events today. If you want to go run that. And Gargoyle, if you don't currently own it, you get pretty much for free. You just throw some shards at Hall of Guardians. And within about 1,000, you'll most likely get at least 2 copies of it, if not more. But you just need 2 copies of Gargoyle and Apothecary, which is from Glory Gem Guild chests. It's an ultra rare, so it should be pretty easy. And Mountain Crusher, which you get at like 25 Brown Mastery or something. By level 100, you most likely own the weapons. If you don't currently have it, just keep doing your hero levels into Brown, and you'll get that weapon. And you can use it with any hero class. The strongest would be something like Titan there. But I'm currently just using with Shaman to level Shaman. You use pretty much anything there as long as it has half mana start. So ideally, something that gains barrier on Brown would be the most ideal, since it would never die, or theoretically never die. Also, good thing that Weaver hit that last slot instead of hitting him. We actually would not have had enough damage to kill. I mean, Tina hitting that. Because if Tina wouldn't have hit the other one, we would have had the thing with 72 durability, which would not have been enough for Weaver to kill. Oh, I'll grab this, and 2 more devils to go till all rewards. And that's a vault key, so let's go grab that vault key and go open. And go open it. Hopefully, we get some good loot here. Let's see, vault key. Don't do that battle. Do it with Sunbird and all that good stuff. Do it with this. Okay. Well, we'll take a firebomb. Before we do that, let's just take this out of safety's sake. Why not? Boom, dead. Firebomb into Sunbird and super dead. There we go. What do we have here? Come on, good loot. Major orb. Oh, we actually got it. But yeah, we actually got a major orb from it. Oh, let's see what we get. I called it correctly. We got 5 gems, 2 diamonds, 2,500 gold. So unless this is a purple or a blue, we didn't do too good. It's a pretty lackluster key if we don't end up getting a purple or blue. But if this is a purple or blue, that is really nice. Ooh, there we go. Okay. So there we go. That's 675 gems. That is 75 gem keys, which comes out to about 9 gems each, which is 675 gems. So that's pretty much our best option, really. I almost would consider a major purple to be better than a major blue. I would still consider a small blue to be better than a small purple. But now that I own Zugoff, I personally value this orb higher than a major blue. Major blues are still nice, though. But, I don't know. I guess major blues are still overall better. But there just isn't many instances where you really use them, other than crafting Zugoff. But still, 675 gem value is what that comes out to. And apparently that just broke the timer on the flash offer. That's funny. That flash offer is pretty lackluster. I wouldn't really bother for it. Maybe they'll have a better one this Friday for the new faction events. But that one's not really that needed, the current one they're running. Anyways, let's go finish out this event. Now that we got that orb. Also, I still haven't used a single one of our orbs, by the way. Our purple orbs. I have not used a single one ever. And we have enough seals to almost max out the guild twice. We're at about 70,000 or so seals in orbs. Maybe even more than that at this point, especially since we just got another 1,500. But we're nearing 80,000 seals just off of orbs. And I think my current stack's at around 130,000 seals, as far as my actual seal number. But between the both of them, that's like 200-something thousand seals. It's definitely over 200,000, that's for sure. Like 210,000, 220,000, 230,000, somewhere around there. Yeah, starting off from scratch does take a while. The first 50 levels are your slowest 50 levels pretty much ever. Just because you don't really have anything to use and battles drag on forever. Even though you gain EXP at a quicker rate. Or not that you gain at a quicker rate, but it takes less EXP to level. Even though it takes less EXP to level, those first 50 just drag on forever. Once you start reaching several hundred, it starts getting a lot quicker, because by then you probably have viable teams to at least some degree. You have some stuff leveled, you have all the hero weapons and stuff like that, so you can actually start winning at a decent time rate. Even if you just have weapons and barely anything else, you can use Kingdom Epics, you can use other stuff. But yeah, if you're on any version other than a Nintendo Switch, so you just said you're on PC, one of the first factions, or one of the first kingdoms you actually want to do is Elwyn. They buffed Elwyn recently to have a 7x boost ratio. Nintendo Switch doesn't have this buff, but every other version of the game does. And it's probably one of the first pickups you want to do from a completion of a kingdom. The order of completion for kingdoms are in the order of Broken Spire, because you need Arena to do souls, because that's like your only viable way to really gain souls when you're first starting out. So you get Broken Spire done, so you can do Arena. If you're on any version but Nintendo Switch, which is what you're on, or you're not on Nintendo Switch, you would go do Pan's Veil next, so you get Elwyn. Elwyn's basically like Rowan, but it's better for the first 200 levels. You would then go and do, not Broken Spire, you already did Broken Spire. You would go do Stormheim all the way in the top right. That you would do to go unlock Titan and start leveling Titan up. You would then go do all the ones that you need for dailies. So you would go to Blighted Lands. Blighted Lands you need for Soulforge. Then Drifting Sands. Drifting Sands you need for daily dungeons. Then by then you should be about level 30. And at level 30 you can go do Cinder Mirage. Cinder Mirage you need for Underworld. And then you got all your dailies unlocked. And then from there, you could either start going for other good hero classes or go for good Kingdom Epics. Rowan, as was just mentioned from Forest of Thorns, is a pretty good one to have. Really good damage source as you start getting all the armor kingdoms upgraded. The other one that you might want to go for are these other good hero classes. They don't exist on Nintendo Switch, but of course all the other versions have it. Things like Zeijin for Thief hero class and Skeleton Key. What's the other one called? Wow, I forgot its name. That magic one, the dark area, the, wow, why can I remember it? The one that has Essence of Evil, the Plague Lord. Why can I not remember the name of that kingdom all of a sudden? Darkstone. That was what it was. Wow, how did I forget that? But Darkstone is one of the other good ones because you need it for Essence of Evil, plus Plague Lord hero class is pretty decent. And those are the main ones. And then you could just pretty much ignore most of the other kingdoms. Unless there was a specific thing you wanted, like a weapon or the hero class from them. Or the epic troop. But those initial, like, 6 are, like, the main ones. Broken Spire, to Pan's Veil, to Stormheim, to Blighted Lands, to Drifting Sands, to Cinder Mirage, to the few other good hero classes, like Forest of Thorns for Rowan, Urskea for that shield, Zeijin for the key and the hero class, and wow, I just forgot it again. Darkstone for Essence of Evil and the hero class of Plague Lord and stuff like that. Oh, I actually gotta grab this room. It's a 1.4 multiplayer. Let's see. You're breaking our economy, Salty was talking about last night. How am I breaking the economy? What did I do? Let's see. We'll go throw an apothecary down. Or no, we won't. Never mind. Bad board. By holding all the stuff. By holding all the what stuff? A lot of people have this many resources as us, if that's what you're referring to. Our resources actually look low compared to some people who haven't needed to like spend all their resources for the videos we've been doing. Because the meta back when Kingdoms used to release every few months was to wait and get the troops with event keys. But I always did it the Friday of, which would waste an absurd amount of resources over time. There are people with over 100,000 gems for free in this game because they didn't have to spend all those extra gems to get all the content immediately. Same as things like Mythics. We could potentially skip the next 2 years of Mythics and probably have almost enough diamonds. We can skip every Mythic for the rest of this year and all of next year. And in the current economy of the game, we'd still be able to get all of them 100% for free. And the reason for that, without spending a single key. And the reason for that is how many diamonds we have. We currently have enough to craft 11 Mythics is how many we currently have. But I always get them immediately to show them for videos. So I always have to waste those and never use my diamonds. But we have enough diamonds to last for a year and a half. And the reason I say a year and a half, because in that time we'd get enough diamonds to cover the rest of that gap. Plus we just randomly get at least one of them probably from some kind of drop here or there. But yeah, we have like a year and a half of mythics just in diamonds. Between the diamonds we currently have and all the diamonds we've accumulate within that time. Assuming nothing new comes for diamonds. Yeah, the current amount of diamonds we have, assuming we don't randomly get a mythic off of any drops, which we would most likely get at least one that way, but assuming we don't get a single mythic off of any drop whatsoever, we have enough diamonds to go for probably 15 months, 14 or 15, because of course we'd accumulate diamonds within that time, probably more closer to 15. Yeah, nearly a year and a half. But of course we spend keys and spend gems and stuff instead, so we can show them immediately every time they come out every month. She was saying one of the reasons they are hesitant to improve the treasure map is because there are so many people who have massive piles of maps. Oh yeah, duh. Because, well, they caused that problem on themselves. Because they nerfed Spoils of War. So it made it so everyone has 1.5 billion maps now. Because a lot of people who had Surplus of Glory bought up Spoils of War before they nerfed it. And I wouldn't have normally have even done that, but because they nerfed it, I decided why not. Because the value was a decent exchange rate, which is why they nerfed it to begin with. So I figured if in case event keys ever become viable in the future, we basically have infinite event keys now. Of course, I mainly did it for the event keys. However, they have 2 maps on it, so we got a lot of maps from doing that automatically. But yeah, we're currently sitting at almost 15,000 maps. There are people that have, I don't think anyone has over 100,000, but there are multiple people that have tens of thousands, like double or triple or even quad the amount we have. But yeah, we are 85 maps from 15,000. Yeah, if they ever buffed treasure hunts, that'd be pretty interesting to see how that pans out. Because we have a lot of maps. Assuming it's still used one at a time and maps take about the same amount of time. Rushing through maps, you can only do about 55 per hour. Which if you divide that in, I think that's what, somewhere, I forgot the math is off the top of my head right now. But it's somewhere around 250 hours of doing maps. Which is a lot of time to be spending just on maps. Some people have done it before. The highest level in the game has used every single one of his maps twice. I think he has used the most amount of maps of any person in the entire game. Even though there's nothing that tracks that. I believe he's somewhere around 50,000 maps used, if not more. Which is most likely the most any person has ever used. Apparently, based on what the devs said, there's actually people who literally just play Gems of War just to play Treasure Hunt. I'm not sure how small of a population that is. That has to be under 1%. But there's actually some population of this game, like it has to be really small, I don't even know, but they have said that there are literally people who just play this game just to play Treasure Hunt, which is kind of interesting to think about. That would be the only thing you would do, or mostly the only thing that you would do. But there apparently is some population of the game that does. What do we take there? Let's go for that on blue. Grab a, I'll just go Mountain Crusher. Yeah, I'm actually really curious who some of those people are. Because if someone was actually, like, legitimately doing that for a year, they could be something like a level 100 with the troop setup of, like, a level 1000 something at level 100. Because if they were in a guild the entire time somehow, while also simultaneously doing that many maps, like let's say they do 10 maps a day, you'd basically have the resources of a level 1100 player at whatever level you decided to start doing those maps at. And that could literally be like level 10 or something. Which would be really hilarious to think about. Like a free-to-play player who looks like that at that low of a level. I somewhat did that for one of my accounts. I did it for 1 month straight. I didn't bother doing it for like an entire year plus though. That would have taken way too long. I would have lost my sanity doing maps that long. for an account that I wasn't even going to do anything else on. But it is pretty funny to think about. You could literally have a maxed account at like level 300 something if you were to use that method. No one, I don't believe, ever has bothered doing that, though. So it would be kind of interesting to see what the lowest level ever is for someone who maxes out everything. That'd be ridiculously hard to do, though. Because you would have to throw literal tens of thousands of maps in order to do that. And by literal tens of thousands, I probably almost mean more like hundreds of thousands. If you were to actually do 100% full completion of the game with just maps, that would probably take somewhere around, yeah, probably multiple hundreds of thousands of maps. Probably around 100 to 300,000. Hard to kind of tell because it depends if you're playing them out legitimately or, you know, just rushing through them. Because every map's about 1 gem and a few other resources, on average. Like, every map averages, I would say, to about 800 gold, 100 souls, 2 trait stones, 1 gem, and what other resources does it have? That's about it. Does Salty account keep going down the level? I'm pretty sure it's just because they don't play it that much. The reason Salty's account is so low is because the one account that they normally use is only ever used if they're streaming on Monday, which is why it's been such a low level, I believe. Did she actually mention that she specifically lowers it? I never recall her mentioning that. I always thought it was just because they only use it for the Monday streams, which is why it's so low. Because they only stream for about an hour once a week. So it's still like level 96. Plus, at the rate that they do battles, it's like 1 battle every 10 minutes between all the talking and things that they might be showing and just the rate of the battles. Speaking of that, we can check to see how long these battles are now. This one's currently going about a minute. That's generally how delves go. Delve battles on average, at least for these earlier ones, take about 1 minute each. Once you start getting like to level 200 plus, they start taking quite a bit longer though. But like below 150, they're about 1 minute each per delve battle on average. Assuming you have okay options to use and somewhat okay stats. When is it best to Mountain Crusher? You should be putting every single one of your initial mana masteries into brown and red, and then disperse them from there. It is extremely important to get Mountain Crusher and Mang as quickly as possible. Mang allows you to run every event in the game. It allows you to do things like pet battles, dungeons, delves, everything. Like, you auto-win literally the entire game once you own Mang, to some degree. So you basically do that to hold down your capability of actually doing those events while you own literally nothing. Just Mang Titan is enough to solo most events, especially if you can get Apothecary in there or, you know, some other thing that kind of synergizes. But that alone is basically enough to solo most events. And other than that, Mountain Crusher you'd want to rush because it's on your way to Mang. Plus, it's basically Gorgolfa. It's a superior version of Gorgolfa. You just use it with Titan, you get a bunch of mana, and you just feed whatever team you want with a really quick burst of mana. You do need to get your Titan fully traded though, but all you have to do is get your hand on 2 small orange orbs, or 1 major orange, and then use it on your hero. You trait the first trait on hero and then use 2 small oranges, or you simply just use 1 major orange, if you can get your hands on one. So it's a little bit hard getting major orbs your first few weeks of the game, but beyond that point you do start getting some, from your guild or just from various events. But orange orbs the smaller ones are pretty easy to get when you're first starting out. Because you can get that on the Tuesday events from the faction. You could get it potentially on the Thursday event for the class. and any of the other events, like the faction event that's coming out, Bounty Hunter, stuff like that. Bounty Hunter also gives a ridiculously huge amount of loot for free, even if you have really low bounty troops. Yeah, Mang early is what you run for most of early game. Only in the game modes where you need to upscale, though. In PV... Oh, stream just went down. Okay, it's back. Never mind. But you only want to use Mang in areas where you need to upscale. In areas like PvP, quests, and Explore, if you're bothering to do Explore, you should not use Mang. For all three of those locations, you should be using some kind of rush mana team. So something like Mountain Crusher, Sunbird, Rowan is a pretty good combination. Rowan you get for free, Sunbird just random drop. And stuff like that tends to be what you want to go for those battles. And other similar quick teams. But Mang is not good at winning quick. It's just good at winning. Yeah, the stream went down for a second. Just click refresh. Yeah, the stream likes doing that sometimes. Unfortunately. But yeah, does anyone else have any other questions? Because we will be wrapping up very soon. As soon as we finish out all rewards and gain that orb and see what it is. Probably wrap up, and I'll just do the rest of the Dells off stream. Whatever we still have, which is pretty much already there. I will have it in what should be 3 to 4 more battles. If anyone still has any questions, let me know. How do you max out a kingdom? Troops, weapons, or by the level of the star per kingdom? Well, you get it to level 10 first. Well, first, basically how you start upgrading a kingdom. There's multiple different levels of upgrading kingdoms. And it's basically what I consider early game, mid game, late game, and end game. And I still haven't done a video, I don't believe, on it yet. But early game is everything prior to level 10 all kingdoms. Initially, what you want to do is you want to get all of your kingdoms to level 3 or so. And then you want to start getting all the magic kingdoms to level 10 and then keep going from there. And then that will get you to mid-game once you have every single kingdom to level 10. The next upgrade that you want to do is start moving all of your kingdoms to 5 stars. In order to do that, the main things it will require is you need to level 6 troops to level 15 within the kingdom. You need to fully trait 7 of them. And you need to fully upgrade a weapon within the kingdom. And you need to own the legend from a kingdom. Doesn't matter which one, just any of the legends. Having a mythic does not count, though, which is kind of strange, but it has to specifically be a legend. So if you somehow own the mythic but none of the legends... I actually managed to do that on my Nintendo Switch account right now. I have the Swords Edge legend. I mean, I have the Swords Edge mythic, but I did not have any of the 2 Swords Edge legends. And that does not count for the kingdom upgrade, unfortunately. Even though it kind of seems like it should, but it doesn't. But, yeah, that's everything you need for 5 stars, and that will get you to late game. And then from there, you worry about getting them all to 10 star, or whatever ones can be 10 starred, and then you're basically late game at that point. And then everything from there is just starting to try to do 100% completion of the game. And just playing the game and getting everything basically immediately. Because by the time you reach late game, you have so much resources that basically any piece of new content they ever add, you will immediately own. Almost all the time, if not all the time. And that's basically the progression. You end up needing a lot of things from 5 star to 10 star, though. I forget what the full list, though, is. But it's a really large list of things. The only one I have remembered is up to 5 star for late game, because that's what I'm currently doing on my Nintendo Switch account. Very slow over time. No problem, mister. Glad I could help you out. Glad I could help. Up to this stream just go down again. Come back. But yeah, no problem, mister. Glad I could help. Yeah, stream just keeps trying to die. It's really annoying. Always when I try talking too, it feels like. Like, the times where we're not doing much, it's like, nope, it'll be fine. But then when we start, like, mentioning something, it's like, oh, the stream's just gonna die. But anyways, let's just do one more battle, because the stream seems to not want to keep up. Plus, we've already gone for over 2 hours now, actually. But, especially since we did another, like, extra 6 minutes on that other stream that kind of completely died out. But, yeah, does anyone else have any other questions? Otherwise, this will be the last thing we do for now. We'll be back tomorrow night, same time as always, though, 2 hours prior to now tomorrow. And we'll mainly be messing around with invasions, which, given how easy it is, that's probably going to take like 5 minutes. And the rest of the time, we'll probably just be messing around with some PvP stuff. And maybe messing with some new... there's not really much to mess around with, actually. I was going to say some of the rebalance changes, but... I don't know, the only thing we could really mess around rebalance change-wise is maybe mess with Wolf Garrick. I haven't tried that yet, but I guess we'll do that tomorrow night at some point. But yeah, good night. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed the stream. And we'll just go get that orb in right here. Then we'll finish out the rest later tonight. Oh, sorry, I didn't see your question. What was it? When using Pure Faction Team on Crypt, can you win the last top delve and get credit for the best delve with no casualties and best delve using Pure Faction? Or do you have to win several delves? For Pure Faction, all you have to do, for both of those, all you have to do is rush towards down the middle. So for example, if we were doing Pure Faction right now, or if we were trying to do Deathless, or if we were just trying to move forward, if you're just trying to do it for Renown, all you have to do is finish the delve. It doesn't matter how many rooms you do. So this delve right here, all we do is that room, this room, and now if we were to go do this just for Score or Pure Faction or for Deathless, all we have to do is just complete this room. It does not matter how many rooms you complete. The only thing that matters for Deathless is that you complete this room without losing a single troop throughout the entire delve. Transform does count as you losing a troop, by the way, if you get transformed by something along the way. And for Pure Faction, all you do is have to complete this delve, or this final room right here, and have at least one troop survive. You do not need your entire team alive. As long as one thing survives on Pure Faction, it'll count. But yeah, that's all you have to do. It doesn't matter how many rooms you do. If we were doing Pure Faction or if we were doing Deathless, it doesn't matter if we do just these minimum 3 or every room. Ideally, you would just obviously do the minimum 3. But as long as you complete this room Deathless for Deathless, or as long as you complete this room with 1 faction troop remaining for 4 faction troops, it will count as Pure Faction. Or it'll count for those 2, respectively, I mean. But, yeah, you just rush down straight to the boss room, basically, is what you do for those. You don't have to bother doing all the side rooms. It's just a waste of time, and it just makes it harder. And to end it out with, we get a blue orb. Wow, we got really lucky today. Insanely lucky day. We got a small blue and a major purple off of our orbs. Or actually, just off this event. We got a orange orb, which could have been a bit luckier. But then we got a major purple and then a small blue. So pretty good luck for a Tuesday event. Anyways, guys, that'll wrap it up for now. Thank you all so much for coming down. Hope you all enjoy the next version. I'll cover it briefly again, hopefully in the video. Should be able to get that out tomorrow at some point. There's not much to go over, so it shouldn't be too hard to kind of just do a brief thing, kind of just going over it real quick. We kind of already did, of course, this stream, but, you know, just have a nice little brief video on it. But, yeah, I'll catch all of you later. Thanks for stopping by. And good night, everyone. Have a wonderful week. And, of course, next biggest thing happening this week is the new faction this Friday, which will be bringing in that nice elemental troop, as well as the 10th faction to the game. And we'll be able to mess around with all the normal faction stuff. Anyways, guys, thanks for stopping by. I'll catch all of you later. And good night, everyone. Goodbye.